Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Techno Talks here. So I'm back again with another speed test, and this time I'm going to be comparing the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE, which was released last year, and the Samsung Galaxy S21. So let's go ahead and first talk about some of the specs on these. I'm going to go ahead and start with the S20 FE right here. The S20 FE has a Snapdragon 865 with 6GB of RAM, and the Samsung Galaxy S21 has the Snapdragon 888 chipset with 8GB of RAM. So there's more RAM on this device, and so this should do better at the RAM test, on the RAM management test, but I don't have too many apps anyway, so they should both keep up with each other and there shouldn't be too big of a problem. So if you have watched my speed test videos from before, y'all already know how it goes. I do a boot up test, and then I go ahead and go through some apps, do a RAM test, I go ahead and open the apps again just to see if it kept them open, and then in the end I do a CPU benchmark test. So let's go ahead and begin. First up, let's do our boot up test in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's go ahead and wait for both of these. Is that the S20 FE opening up first? Or is the S21 gonna beat it? So if you did notice, yeah, the S21 did beat it, but if you did notice, Samsung did change up their thing a little, so it doesn't say like Samsung Galaxy S21 5G or Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G, so they just kept it short and just put Samsung Galaxy. So it's a slight thing, a slight change, but it's still good. So the S21 did beat the S20 FE, but now we're gonna move on to the app test. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video right here and get on to the app screen. So now both the devices are turned on, and I did wait for them to get everything ready, you know, if there are any updates after the boot up or whatnot. So I just waited a little and everything's fine. Anything that needed to be downloaded got downloaded, so there shouldn't be any downloads, and if there are, I can't really control that because that's just going to be an update that comes to it later on. So let me go ahead and turn off mobile data right there, so that doesn't go ahead and connect to its mobile data, but we can now begin. So let's go ahead and start with Instagram in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that was the S21 and then the S20 FE. Snapchat, that was very similar. Twitter, okay, that was the S20 FE. Let's go ahead and go to the home page. YouTube in 3, 2, 1. So that was the S21. Let me go ahead and turn down the volume real quick. And let's go to Amazon shopping in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that was the S21 again. But these aren't too big of a difference, so you can't tell too much. Let's go to Best Buy. Okay, so Best Buy on the S20 FE. Takes the lead there. Among Us, very similar, and that was the S21, but just by a slight millisecond. Smashy Road 1 to 2. Okay, so that's gonna be the S21. Sorry about that, and the S20 FE is still loading in. Let's go ahead and keep that running, paused. Okay, waiting on the S20 FE, and still no response. So I'm gonna go ahead and quit out Smashy Road 1 to 2 and just open it back up, just so it can stay in the background, but it did fail to open that app right there for some reason. Not exactly sure what happens, but with my S20 FE, I've had a lot of issues for some reason. Not exactly sure why, but I just happen to have a lot of issues with it, and it's kind of getting annoying. So Subway Surf in 3, 2, 1. So the S21 is loading in first, and let us see which one opens. Okay, so that was the S21, but that was very close again. Go ahead and close out both of these. Okay, so what do we have? Temple Run 2. Seems like the S21. So the S21 just caught up there. At first, the S20 FE took that, but the S21 did open it up first, And then in that loading screen, if you saw the S20 FE just loaded in out of nowhere. So let's go to Dead Trigger 2, a little heavier games. Okay, let's see which one loads in first. So we got to the home screen first on the S21, and 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and click play. Feel like the S21. But those were very similar. So let's go ahead and wait for that so we can get into the game. Let me move this a little. And boom. So that's 20 FE by a slight bit, so not by too much. Now let's go to Pubg Mobile in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Pubg Mobile, the logo popped up on the S20 FE first. Now they're both on the loading screen, and I did update these, so there should not be an update. And I'm gonna go ahead and wait for that. So it's checking for updates. Okay, S20 FE's loading in first. And the S21 is still checking, updating, download something, preparing. Okay, so the S21 just did an update for some reason. I just updated both of these, so I'm gonna go ahead and redo that real quick. Let's go ahead and exit out right here, close out Pubg Mobile, the S20 FE, and wait up on the S21 to load in. Okay, so just let that load in, and boom. Now let's go ahead and exit out, close that out, and let's go to Pubg Mobile again in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now they should both open. As I said, I did update these before the video, but for some reason it just got another update. If y'all play Pubg Mobile, you already know that Pubg Mobile just gets tons of updates out of nowhere. And I personally don't play too much, but when I did before, I remember when I got updates after like a game, and I would have to close the game because my game was like downgraded and I had to update again. Okay, so still waiting on them. S20 FE is taking the lead right now. It's in the loading screen, and boom, S20 FE has taken it. Play games. Okay, so this should go in as a guest. Okay, guest. So the S20 FE managed to get into the first screen first. However, the S21 did take the lead after, and they're both trying to log in right now. So S21 is loading in, and S21 has gone in. So we're waiting on the S20 FE now. It should get in a little bit because I did click it first on the S20 FE. Let's click the X, and okay, server did not. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at that. The S21 has opened it up, but they're both disconnecting for some reason. So the S20 FE did take the lead on this, on Pubg Mobile. But now let's go ahead and do the RAM management test. So start with Pubg Mobile again. Okay, nothing there. They shouldn't reload anyways. Dead Trigger 2. So no reload on the S21. I can just say back and continue. But we did get a reload on the S20 FE. Let's go Temple Run 2 on both of these. Both are resumable. So no reloads there. Subway Surf, no reloads on the S21, but we do have a reload on the S20 FE. So that's not really good to see. Okay, so the S21 has it again, but the S20 FE had to reload again. That's kind of disappointing. It's been happening with my S20 FE a lot now. I'm having tons of reloads on apps, and I do have enhanced processing on, so it's on its high performance mode for both of these devices, and so they should not be doing this. And as we can see, the S21 is definitely keeping everything open, so no reloads on both of these. Okay, so Amazon shopping had a reload on the S21, YouTube reload on the S20 FE, but no reload on the S21. Okay, let's get out of there. Waiting on the S20 FE, boom. Let's go to Twitter. So no reloads there. Snapchat, we shouldn't have a reload anyways. There wasn't anything on there to reload. Instagram. So I believe that was a reload just now. And so RAM management is definitely better on the S21. As you saw from there, the S20 FE did fail to keep some games open, and so it didn't have the best RAM management. However, the S21 did keep basically everything open other than, I believe, Amazon shopping, and they had a reload in Instagram, if I'm not wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and close out all of the apps for both of these. And in this round, in these two rounds, the S21 definitely takes the win, and it does beat the S20 FE. But now we're going to go to our Geekbench test, and we're going to do a CPU benchmark. So I'm going to go ahead and start the CPU benchmark, and once these are done, I will get back to y'all. So let's go ahead and wait for this real quick, and once it's done, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the scores with y'all, and that's going to be it. And so we got both of the tests done, and there are some pretty interesting scores that I'd like to talk about. So as you can see, our single core is going to be 562 on the Snapdragon on the S20 FE and 591 on the S21. And then for the multi-core, we got a 3049 for the S20 FE with the older chipset, the A65, and we got a 2522 on the S21 with the newer chipset that is supposed to be better, and it's not. So from the score, we can see that the S21 has lost to the S20 FE by a margin with the multi-core and hasn't even beat it by too much with the single core. So that's kind of disappointing. If anyone knows why it's like this, go ahead and explain to me, because this shouldn't be happening normally, and this is actually really confusing, and I'm not exactly sure what the reason behind this is. We're getting a 2522 and a 3049 when this chipset is going to be older, and this one should be better than the one on the S20 FE. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on, as I said, but from the scores, the S20 FE does beat it with the CPU benchmark. However, we're not done yet. We're going to go ahead and run another benchmark. We're going to do a compute benchmark. It's going to check out the GPU for these, and so we'll have a better result. This is going to be the first time I'm doing a compute benchmark, by the way. I haven't done it before on any of my speed tests, so this is going to be a new addition to it, and I will continue adding this from now on. But as I said, that's actually really confusing why the S20 FE got 500 more points than the S21, which should supposedly have the better chipset. So I'm going to go ahead and run the compute benchmark with OpenCL, and let's go ahead and see which one gets the higher score and outperforms the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it right here and get back to y'all once this is over. So we're now finally done with our compute test, and so this tests out the GPU, and with this we can see that the S21 definitely has a way better GPU. It's gotten around 1,000 more points, and this comes to show that the S21 does take the lead here and definitely beats out the S20 FE. However, if y'all know the reason as to why when I did run a CPU benchmark, the S20 scored a lot lower, just let me know down in the comments below, because I'd really like to know the reason for that. And so that's going to be about it. That's going to be the wrap up of this video. And so I guess if y'all enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one so I can keep bringing great content for y'all.